Would you say I have a reasonable understanding of how to execute these various sex acts properly?
Yes.
How awesome is that? What you're doing is disgusting. Listen, lady.
What's up, guys? How you doing? We are now in Miami, Florida. It is a very different vibe here to California. Grateful to be out here. Going to be catching up with Myron Gaines, Fresh Prince CEO, while I'm out here. Going to be catching up with a few other people. And, yeah. It's been a while since I've done a solo show. This last month, I've just been interviewing people left, right, and center. So now, we get a chance to just get back to the old days, just the two of us together. And Danny King, no, butt sex is not the answer to this question of like how. Well, the question I want to answer today, right? Because I've seen a couple of friends recently, for want of a better word, they've kind of taken the black pill, right? They've kind of ended up in this very dark, despairing mindset where they've decided, they're contemplating throwing all their morals out the window, throwing all their values out the window, throwing all their convictions out the window, and because no one is because they feel like they're losing the battle, right? They're trying to help guys, they're trying to help men be better. They're trying to help guys navigate, male-female dynamics. They're trying to help guys navigate being better financially, setting themselves up financially for life, making better financial decisions, making better life decisions, making better life choices. And they find themselves bashing their head against a wall, and no one's listening to them, and they're not making any progress. And then I've got another. That's specifically one friend of mine. Then I've got another friend of mine who recently sort of getting a bit despairy with all the COVID stuff, all the regulations that are going on, the lockdowns that are going on all over the world. Like everywhere we go, we're just seeing more and more restrictions coming into place, and things aren't letting up. Things aren't sort of going back to normal. So, look, I kind of understand. It's not. It's very easy to fall into that depressive, dark place by default if you're not actively trying to avoid it. Right? If you pay attention to what's going on around the world, it can be quite a dark place sometimes. And we kind of found an antidote to it this weekend, bouncing around the two of us. And all the time, guys just need to step away from all this sort of stuff and to hang out with other dudes, do manly shit, and bang. Gives your mind like a reset. All these dark, despairing thoughts, they only really linger into your mind when you're sort of sitting there, passive. You're not really doing anything. You're not really chasing anything. You're not really achieving anything. When you're sitting there, not keeping yourself busy, when you're sitting there not being active, not pursuing your goals, this sort of the black pill or whatever, this like despair, this darkness can kind of creep in, and can get to you. But something as simple, man. Something as simple as just going on a hike. Something as simple as, finding the tallest point on the horizon and setting your eyes on it and making your way up that hill. Just getting out in nature, getting sun on your skin, heaven forbid, getting out of out of your house, getting out of a cubicle, getting out of, these sort of confinements that we put ourselves in, getting out into nature, getting fresh air, getting sunlight on your skin, walking around, moving. These things center you again, and they bring you back in alignment with the way you're supposed to be, the way we're sort of born to actually live, the way we're evolved to actually live. We're not evolved to just sit down in front of a computer screen all our lives and type away on a keyboard all day. That's just a consequence of modern society. But getting out into nature, exercising with one another, like sparring, training with one another, going out and shooting guns. We spent this weekend going out and shooting a bunch of guns out in the desert. And it doesn't take much to sort of snap you back into a positive frame of mind. But you have to actively take the time to do these things, to spend time with your friends, to spend time with your buddies, to make sure that you're doing this stuff regularly, because a lot of us can get, especially if you're what they call like type A personality, like the kind of person who goes after lots of things, the kind of person who's chasing down goals, a lot of the time, you can be stuck on that train. You can be sort of narrow-sighted, and you can only think about work. And you only focus on work for an extended period of time, and you let your mental health sort of decline because of that. So actively putting in time to spend with your buddies, actively putting in time to schedule going and doing manly shit together. Man, it is just like a reset button. The cloud just like lifts from your head, and you stop thinking about all the things that are wrong in the world, and you start seeing a lot of the good. And you start thinking, well, maybe things aren't actually as bad as I thought they were. Maybe there is a bit of hope. Maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think, especially right now, a lot of guys might be stuck in this kind of darker place. So this is, for want of a bit of a phrasing, a way for you to realign your manly chakras, to realign your masculine chakras, and that is by getting out there and doing fun masculine activities with your buddies. Shoot some guns, climb a hill, go hunt something, throw an axe, throw a bow and arrow, go punch each other in the face, go spar, go wrestle, go lift together. Do whatever it takes to like find time for you and your buddies to get together and go do shit together, and reaffirm like why you're there together, why you guys are like friends in the first place, why you guys are part of each other's tribe in the first place. It keeps you a lot more positive, We've got a bunch of people in the chat. I've been ranting for a bit. Danny Keane, Divina, always good to see you. Silliman, good to see you. Crenamont. Yeah, basically. Divina, when things get tough, just become stronger. Pretty much. Like, you're never going to go wrong. Like that, as a response to things being tough, that is never going to be a bad solution. For you to just develop a thicker skin, develop more resilience, develop more discipline. This will always benefit you. It will always help you. There is absolutely no downside to becoming stronger as a man. None whatsoever. Paul Krug has asked, What do you do when your body is your prison and destroys itself by action? I'm assuming, Paul, you might be talking about some kind of an autoimmune condition, or an autoimmune disease, something like this, or perhaps some kind of disability, like a physical disability here. In the case of some kind of autoimmune condition, if that is actually what you're talking about, I do know people who've been through this and who have actually fixed it. A good friend of mine, actually. He had Crohn's disease, and he completely reversed. Crohn's disease, if you guys aren't familiar, Crohn's disease is where if you eat protein, your intestines eat themselves. It's disgusting, and it's very, very deadly. And you gotta be super, super careful about what you eat, otherwise you can literally kill yourself. he managed to completely reverse that right around by changing his diet. Actually, by changing to a paleo diet. Highly recommend you check out some of Pete Evans' stuff. Pete Evans, he's actually a good friend of an Australian chef, Pete Evans. Pete Evans is a paleo guy, and yeah, this guy Benny's one of my friends back in Australia, completely flipped around his Crohn's conditions. So if that is the thing you're talking about here, Paul, with your body being a prison, that is actually something you can reverse. Not easy, but it is doable because I've seen people do it. I've literally seen people do it. They've gone from being like overweight, bloated, inflamed, like all these autoimmune conditions all this stuff going wrong in the body, to being like at the peak of health and like the healthiest they've ever been in their life, and they're in their like 40s. So hopefully that gives you a bit of hope and actually gives you some kind of direction to chase down here, Paul. If you're referring, however, to like a physical disability, right? I always said to myself, like, if I ever became disabled, then I would find a way to excel at something with that disability. So, for example, because I played basketball my whole life. I used to play basketball quite a lot. If I had like lost the use of my legs, then I decided, like, look, okay, if I lose the use of my legs, then I'll just double down on like wheelchair basketball. I'll find whatever disability I get, I'll just find a way to like exert physical strength in the remaining capacity that I have, because a lot of people don't even appreciate what they have. Look at like wheelchair athletes. They are jacked compared to like the average person who has full use of their body. And it's like, well, okay, we're given different rolls of the dice in life, but look, it's up to you to decide what you do with it. Yeah. This is definitely not Fresh Prince CEO. I think someone's been using his moniker and bouncing around in some chat. But you're absolutely right, Divina. The bigger battle will always be in your head. And that's the thing. You're right. When you do hardship, you become stronger than you ever believed, right? Like your mental perception of who you are changes and evolves with the challenges you overcome throughout life, And so as you overcome bigger and bigger and bigger hurdles, it becomes much easier to face the sort of trials and tribulations of life as they come at you, right? Especially if you're deliberately going out, if you're deliberately seeking out more and more challenging things, then everyday problems you just blow past them with ease, Who did I get to up here? There was a good comment in here. jQuery, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, Mr. Jupl, live for yourself, not for others. That's a vital lesson that can be hard to grasp. Well, here's the thing: you can't help others unless you help yourself first. It's impossible. And I know this because I've seen people do this. Without the sort of solid foundation of, like, without your own life having a solid foundation, right? Like mentally, physically, financially, whatever it might be. If without that foundation, if you go and try to help others and help them improve themselves, or sacrifice for others, what's going to happen is you're pouring from an empty cup, right? If your cup is like, if you have a cup and it's just overflowing, then you can freely give some of that overflowing, health, wealth, energy, whatever it might be, to others. But if you're trying to fill someone else's cup from an empty cup, then you're not going to really have much success, right? and you're going to spin your wheels, and you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to wonder why. Like, oh, why am I not achieving anything? Why am I not helping anything? Why am I not helping anybody? Why am I not making any progress here, right? So, like, help yourself first before you seek to help others. Yeah, I agree with you here, Paul. You've thought about teaching, but there's so many coaches out there. Like, I never really wanted to be like a coach or anything like that. I mean, this is why I specify. The only thing I talk openly and freely about this kind of stuff because it's interesting to me and I have some experience with it, but I don't charge people for it. I only charge, like, I teach sex education. I teach bedroom stuff because that's my specialty. I always thought it was I always found it very corny and very cheesy. Whenever I see a guy who has, like, not really accomplished anything in his life, then try and teach people, like, by being a life coach or something like that. To me, that always rubbed me the wrong way. I'm trying to stay awake from the jet. Like, I just spent 9 hours in a Phoenix airport because of the freaking. So a little story about what my last 24 hours has been. I was supposed to fly into Miami on Sunday. Left Los Angeles in the morning. Headed for Phoenix. We're about 20 minutes out of Phoenix, and then the plane just turns and heads in a different direction. And we land in Vegas. Vegas is not Phoenix. These are two completely different places. And lo and behold, the pilot was a woman. This is what happens when you let women drive, guys. No, I'm joking. There was some kind of security thing going on at Phoenix Airport, so we had to divert, landed in Vegas, and then we refueled and headed back to Phoenix again, and then I missed my connecting flight to Miami, so I had to wait till 1 a.m. in the morning to catch to get a flight here to Miami. So if I'm a bit low energy, that's why. But I used to call this thing, Paul, I used to call this the perpetual circle of uselessness, where, like, you'll see this all the time on the internet, like, guys teaching guys how to make money by teaching guys how to teach guys. Right? It's like, I'll show you how to make money. I'll teach you to make money by running a seminar that teaches people how to make money by teaching people how to make money through running a seminar. You see what I mean? It's just this. There's no actual value being added. It's just this circle that is never-ending cycle of, like. I don't want to call it a scam because it's not necessarily a scam, and it's not necessarily a pyramid scheme either. But it's just this, like, just this perpetual circle of uselessness. No one's actually going anywhere. No one's adding anything new. No one's creating anything new. They're trying to teach someone else something the guru is trying to teach his students how to be a guru without actually having any life knowledge, experience, or anything valuable to add. So it creates this perpetual circle jerk. And that's always rubbed me up the wrong way. Never really liked that. Democracy, good to see you, mate. I'd never heard of this guy, Billy Red Horse. I'd never heard of him until I saw Tristan tweet about it. I actually met Tristan and Andrew in Vegas last weekend. Great guys. Really solid guys. I highly recommend them. Can't say enough good things about these guys. So I'm one of these people. I don't like just if I make friendships with people online, I want to actually meet them in person to see if they're the real deal, to see if that's somebody I would actually hang around with. You know, if I lived in the same city as this guy, would we actually hang out? You know, because it's easy to sort of present a persona, a character online. It's easy to present bravado. It's easy to play a character online. It's an entirely different thing to be that person face to face with somebody else. And yeah, the takes are who they say they are. So there you go. What do I get to? I agree with this, Divina. Yeah, but the more it's sort of it's like a positive. It's a positive feedback loop. It's a positive spiral. Right? There's this the concept of like positive spirals and negative spirals, right? So people think that they have a like a when it comes to sort of exercising and working, right? People think they have this sort of limited pool of energy, right? What you don't realize is that the more you exercise and the more discipline you develop and say the more work you get done, the more over like the course of days and weeks and months and years, that actually adds to your overall energy. It adds to your your energy levels, your discipline, increases your discipline, it strengthens your discipline, reinforces it. So it creates an upward spiral. So as you exercise more, for example, then you have more energy to work. And as you accomplish more things with work, then you're more motivated to go back to the gym and exercise. And it sends you up and up and up until you accomplish more and more things. And the reverse is also true though. If you're having a lazy day and you don't feel like going to the gym, well then you're probably going to eat something shitty. And if you eat something shitty, then you're probably not going to have as much mental energy, and you're probably not going to get as much work done. And if you don't get as much work done today, then tomorrow you're probably going to feel a bit shit about it. Probably going to feel a bit like depressed or not have as high a self-esteem. So then you're going to eat shitty food again, or you're not going to exercise again, or you're going to get less work done again. And it creates the opposite effect, a very downward spiral. It's very... Momentum's a very useful thing. If you can capitalize on your momentum and take yourself in the right direction. Oh, that's what you were talking about, Paul. You were talking about butterfly disease. Your skin is missing a protein and ruptures by too much physical stress. I'm not familiar with butterfly disease. Interesting. I would look. Again, not a medical expert. Haven't met somebody with it. Not familiar with the disease at all. If it's something to do with the skin, it could be an inflammatory disease. It's worth, like with these things, I think a lot of people try to identify themselves by their illness, by the disease. They try to define themselves that way. Like, I am a guy with Crohn's disease. I am a guy in a wheelchair. I am a guy with butterfly disease. I would challenge you to go out there and try and find somebody who has overcome this particular illness. Because I can almost guarantee there is somebody out there on the internet who has done that, legitimately. And maybe you can learn something from them. Maybe. It's better than, like, where you are right now. You're not, if you identify with something like that, you're going to stay in the same place. At least by looking for people who might have overcome it, you stand a chance of potentially solving it. So there's it's all upside and no downside, Wim Hof stuff. I went to a Wim Hof little seminar in California last year. I would agree. It's pretty impressive, that kind of stuff. People shit on cold showers all the time. People shit on the whole cold shower thing, or ice baths or whatever. I'll say one thing about it: even if it didn't have the physical benefits that it does, which it does have a lot of really positive physical benefits for you, like cardiovascular health, reducing body fat, pumping you full of endorphins, pumping you full of dopamine, a lot of really good positive benefits to it, right? Even if it didn't do that, the great benefit of doing things like cold showers or ice baths is it builds that discipline muscle in your head. Because it takes a lot of discipline to jump into an ice bath, to plunge into an ice bath, to slam on the cold shower first thing in the morning. That actually takes quite a lot of discipline. So, shit on cold showers all you like, but it's actually something that you can use it as a way of building up the discipline muscle in your brain, which will help you with everything. Where do we get up to, Paul? Paul Krug. Republic of Awesomeness, type 1 diabetic, autoimmune based, got me when I was 36, I'm in the best shape of my life to the point my long-term relationship is looking for a girl as a tag team backup. Fuck yes, see, that's what I want to hear. That's the shit I want to hear right there. See, this is not defining yourself. This is called not defining yourself by your illness. Fucking love to hear that stuff. Good job, man. Good job. Yeah, I think you're back here. John Doe is referring to the perpetual circle of uselessness. The business is about harvesting money from desperate guys. I mean, because everyone wants the magic pill. Everyone wants just like the silver bullet to like solve all their problems. And unfortunately, there really isn't a silver bullet for all of this stuff. Nine times out of 10, the solution to your problem is do more work. That's just the reality of it. Or do the hard things. It's probably a better way of saying it. Do the thing, 9 times out of 10, the solution to your problem is do the things you've been putting off doing. Right? Do the things that make you uncomfortable. 9 times out of 10, that is actually the answer to most of your problems. Be it health, wealth, relationships, whatever it is. Pilly boy, a good workout while listening to Stirling. Name me a better combo. Yeah, I don't know. A blonde and a brunette is a better combo for you. Danny Keane asked if it was if the solution to aligning a manly chakras was butt sex, rage guy, and it is not the answer to realigning them. Oh yes, thank you, Brandon, for reminding me. Everyone smash that like button while we're at it. This is not going to be a very long one, guys. I'm probably going to wrap this up in a minute, but because I am seriously suffering from a lack of sleep, but I wanted to deliver as promised. And on Friday, this Friday I might actually have, we might be having Troy Francis on the show, which could be a good degenerate chat. So make sure we stay tuned for that. Where'd we get to? Thank you, Brandon. You love seeing me getting pumped up. Look, I'm a passionate guy. You can't take that away from me. It's both a curse and a blessing. And exactly, Rage Guy. I'm glad that people are remembering the things I say. High value man lives a life of his own design, right? So, look, whatever illness you have, whatever setback you have, whatever downside you might have in your life, don't use it as an excuse to live a life that you want, to live a life of your own design. Be unrealistic. Too many people are realistic. And being realistic leads to being mediocre, which leads to being depressed, which leads to this black pill mentality up to tie things back to what I want to talk about today, this idea of like getting stuck in like hopelessness and despair. When you set goals that are unrealistic, when you set out to live a life that is of your own design, when you set out to live a life that is ambitious, which is outrageous, that is, something you could only dream of, that forces you to be hopeful, because you can't be ambitious and hopeless at the same time. It has to be one or the other, right? If you have lofty goals, if you have goals that everyone else says are unrealistic, then just the idea of proving them wrong fires you up and gets you working towards your goals and gets you taking action, gets you more disciplined. So if there's one thing I want everyone to sort of remember, it's that, just don't be mediocre, guys. Like, you've only got one. Like, people live their life thinking they've got a second chance. Like, this is a dress rehearsal or some shit. It's not a dress rehearsal, man. This is it. This is all we got. Make the most of it, man. Like, have fun with it. There's no need to be just like everybody else. Yeah, bingo, rage guy. Yeah, I'm lacking sleep and I'm trying to stay awake with this thing. Ugh, terrible idea. Yeah, Silverman. I've seen what they're doing. We're going after them. Don't worry. And any help you can lend Silverman to getting those things taken down, I would appreciate it as well. But it's just the consequence of doing business on the internet, I guess. Oh, that's right. I wasn't expecting you. I didn't think you were looking for pity, Paul. I was just kind of using that as I figured I'd use that as a good example, for anyone else watching this, because it's not. We live in an age when everyone is sort of the victimhood mentality age, right? Where victim status is like a badge of honor, when it really shouldn't be. The badge of honor is in overcoming some kind of disadvantage, and obviously you are doing that, which is great, and thank you for the kind words on my sexual dominance course. You're welcome. Let's I like this. Your Republic of Awesome. Your dad was a German Shepherd trainer, so I'll have my own attack dogs. I will be hitting you up, so I would very much like some well-trained German Shepherds. Thank you, sir, man. Good man. Very, very, very happy to hear that. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. One more quick question from Billy Boy. I'm dealing with a girl who was the R word when she was 12. Do you have experience with those kind of girls? Any tips to deal with these girls? My first ever girlfriend actually had that. My first ever girlfriend. She had a experience like that when she was younger. And to be fair, in all honesty, it didn't really affect our relationship at all. It didn't bring any. She felt comfortable enough with me to tell me what had happened prior to that. But it didn't, at least in that relationship, it didn't affect it. Now, having said that, I do know girls in my industry who were, say, abused at a younger age. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. So it's not like a defining factor of girls in my industry. I just know that has happened to a few girls in my industry. And it does take its toll on them mentally. Like, it can make it harder for them to trust guys. It can make it harder for them. Like certain sex acts can be very, very triggering for them. But here's a key thing. You'll know that you have this woman's. In an example like this, right? You will know if you have this woman's total trust and loyalty, if she breaks down crying while you guys are engaged in like a certain sex act that she previously was unable to do because of her past trauma. If she's able to sort of get over that and do something with you, she's going to be. You're actually sort of helping her cope, get over all that trauma. Actually, I've seen this happen to girls, not just with me, but with I've seen this happen to other girls who I know have been through this. So with the right guy can help a girl get over that trauma and can really do a lot of positive to that girl. So it's not a death sentence. I think a lot of guys think this sort of thing is a death sentence, for like the girl's like mental stability. Because think about it, like look, men came back from like war and watched, like think about like our grandfathers and stuff who came back from like World War I, World War II. our grandfathers and great grandfathers, they watched their friends get blown up, and they were still able to come home after war and have a healthy relationship with their wife and kids. That happened, you know. Some of them were fucked up, sure, but a lot of them were able to have perfectly healthy relationships. So the same goes for women who've been abused like this at a younger age. Like, it is possible for them to get over it. It is possible for them to get to reconcile that trauma, to sort of to like deal with that trauma, and the right guy can actually get to the point where she is getting over that. So it's an interesting situation, but it depends. When you probably haven't even answered your question, because any tips to deal with these kind of girls, I would need to know, like, is this manifesting itself in your interactions with her? Is she bringing it up? Like, how is it manifesting? Like, how is this trauma manifesting in your relationship with her? You know. Getting ideas visually on paper. Mate, BullBou, I'm glad you mentioned this. I am a massive fan of... ever since... I sort of figured out this is how I structure my week. Ever since high school, I have had a physical, like, calendar diary thing where I write in, like, my goals for each day and I cross them off. I cannot use, like, Google Calendar. It doesn't work for me. I need to physically write things down, and I also have a separate notepad for all my, like, medium. So that's like diary for, like, that day's short-term goals, and then I have a notepad for, like, medium to long-term goals that I'm working on over the next, like, month or 2 or 3, and it's all written down stuff. There's something about that writing is an incredible thing. There's something about taking, like, going from thoughts to putting it on paper that it adds power to it, you know. It adds power more. I feel like there's more power in writing things than there is in speaking them. A lot of the time, especially when it comes to, like, goal setting, because a lot of the time when you see people, like, speaking their goals to other people, it tends to backfire because you get this sort of initial dopamine release of, like, oh, I'm gonna run a marathon or whatever it might be, and they get the reward without actually having done anything. But if it's just between you and a piece of paper, it's written down, it's like holding you accountable without giving you any pleasurable dopamine hit for, like, telling people that you're going to do it. Hopefully someone understands what I'm talking about here. Where we get to? Exactly, Rage Guys. This is exactly what the plan is. Well-trained, they don't have to be German Shepherds, but it's a pack of attack dogs will protect my castle of concubines, and then if they get through that, well, then there's the claymores, and so on and so forth. Pogson, Chris, mate, I'm going to be seeing you shortly. Liked your recent video on limiting bedroom beliefs. Definitely provided a lot of things I wasn't sure about. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too, sir. And I'm sure you guys are got a live show tonight, don't you? Go check out the Fresh and Fit podcast. Pogson here is the producer for it. He does a fantastic job. He's a great guy. Go check him out. And drop your Pogson, Chris. Drop your Instagram in the chat below, and I'll put it up so everyone can go follow you. Is there anything else in here? Yeah, Paul. Some girls want to recreate that situation because unconsciously she couldn't understand why it happened and wants to recreate the situation herself. That's actually a great way of explaining it, yes. They sort of want to get put in a similar situation like that again, but be in control of it so they can process it, right? And I think that will actually help them sort of deal with it and finally process that trauma. Yeah, here we go. Republic of Awesome. My long-term relationship has some issues. I've helped her move past them, and now she can enjoy the act that was done to her. Exactly. Yeah, you can help them get through this stuff. You know, rather than you don't need, like, Because a lot of guys will say, like, oh, if a girl has been abused like this in the past, then she's sort of damaged goods. And don't get me wrong, it can make things challenging, especially if that trauma is brought up in the relationship. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. So, it's not so clean and dry. Here we go. Go follow Chris. That's his Instagram. He's a good guy. He's out here in Miami where I am right now. We'll be catching up a bit later. It remind me never get you mad around a knife. I'm not even sure what you're talking about there. But anyway. Guys, I am well overdue for some sleep. So, I'm going to end it right there. I hope you all have a fantastic Monday, because it is a lovely day. Well, at least here in Florida it is. And I'm sure it's lovely everywhere else around the world right now, even though it is kind of winter, but we'll deal with that. As always, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and if you're brand new to this channel, subscribe. And look, if you've got a friend, I'll finish with this. If you've got a friend who is in a bit of a dark place right now, who's sort of, oh, you're talking about throwing knives. That makes sense, Chris. Aha. If you've got a friend who is in a dark place, if you've got a friend who is a bit hopeless right now, if you've got a friend who's sort of despairing, who's taking a black pill, for want of a better term, right? Take them and go hike up a mountain with them. Take them and go lifting with them. Take them and go shoot some guns with them. Take them and go chop some wood with them. Take them and go knife throwing. Take them and go bow hunting. Take them and do something with them. Like some manly, like fun activity together. Like go drive all-terrain vehicles together. It's a reset button for them. You've got to get them out of their head. Got to get them away from a computer screen. Got to get them away from the despair machine that is mainstream media and social media and all this crap. Get them away from that. Get them out there in the real world doing things. Get them moving. And you're going to help them get out of that dark cloud of despair. All right, guys? I'll see you next time. You take care. Smash the like button. And stay tuned for a couple more videos dropping this week. And hopefully Friday this week we will have the fantastically charming and degenerate Troy Francis on the show as well. All right. Peace, guys.